Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Storm Spotter for the National Weather Service, Timothy Bro, here in Phoenix, Arizona. Here again. It is that time of year again. Yes, thank you all for being patient. I have read comments on my preliminary monsoon video 2018 I did back on May 10th. That was my preliminary North American monsoon video 2018, what I think was going to happen. Now I am here to give you my official North American monsoon season 2018 forecast. Yes. So again, thank you for being patient with me, guys. I'm doing well. I've been extremely busy with work. Everything is okay. I've been going through a lot of personal things right now. But you know what? Hey, neither here nor there. It's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I'm looking forward to your questions and comments below. This is my second year in a row that I'm doing videos on the North American monsoon and trying to forecast it, and it's not easy. I want to apologize too. For some reason, when I upload the videos onto my YouTube channel, the quality of them is not very good. I'm not exactly sure why they turn out the way they do. It's right now on video, it's coming out very clear. And yes, I do record with an iPhone 7 Plus. I don't have any expensive equipment or anything as of yet. I'm very amateur when it comes to my tools that I have to be able to make my videos. That's why it's shaky. I don't use a tripod. I don't use any of those things. It's very, very hands-on and down to the nitty-gritty. So the following things you're going to look at here, we're going to discuss. This video will most likely be in 2 or 3, maybe 4 parts, so there's a lot to talk about this year here, guys. And I know it's going to sound winded and long, drawn out. You're probably going to say just get to the point, but either way, it's okay. We're going to take our time with this. We're going to really get into what I think could be a monsoon here in the North American Southwest that many people are going to remember for quite some time. It's probably going to be probably go down into the record books, and it's probably going to be a monsoon that we probably haven't seen something similar to this. What I'm expecting is going to be something similar that we haven't seen probably for, probably 32 to 34 year time period, probably since 1984. The monsoon that we're about to experience here in the desert Southwest is going to be one to long remember for quite some time, and it's going to have characteristics that are not normally associated with a normal monsoon. I can tell you that the 2 tropical systems that I were forecasting to develop in June off the Baja Spur did indeed occur. Within a 4-day span, we had 2 Category 4 hurricanes that developed out this way here, right in this warm patch of water, in this very warm SST anomalies here, running between 28 and 29 degrees Fahrenheit, Celsius, and they were very powerful storms. Bud actually shed some of its moisture off in mid-June. Today, again, is June 28th, 2018. It's going on 9 p.m. here. And basically, it brought moisture up, and some areas got 2-3 inches of rain across the state. It was a 2-day event. There wasn't really powerful thunderstorms per se, but there was some beneficial rain for many areas. Excuse me. Phoenix Sky Harbor National Airport before that had not seen measurable rain for almost 100 days, and really Phoenix is still in a major deficit across the area and the state, and it's not just Arizona that's in a terrible drought right now, guys. It's parts of Southern California, Nevada, Utah, parts of Colorado, and just virtually almost all of New Mexico, West Texas is suffering in some sort of drought, whether it's from abnormally dry to exceptional drought. And we are currently on our 5th system that is developing out in the Pacific right now, the East Pacific. I believe it's Daniel, and he's harmlessly moving off to the west-northwest and is not going to affect our weather. Another one will likely develop behind that. I don't know what's next in line for a name, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted. I'm going to try to do weekly videos if possible now that I am back in the gist of things. Again, so what we're looking at here, let's really dig into it. So guys, welcome back, everyone. So what we're looking at here is, this is property of tropicaltidbits.com. They have relatively decent maps to be able to check the sea surface temperature anomalies. And what you're looking at is today's update, 18Z, June 28th, 2018. This is the last model run for today's date. And what you're looking at is where we see, so blue would be cold water, cooler than normal temperatures. With the darkest purple, blue, or into light purple color would be, 5 degrees, below normal. Anything in the extreme red would be up to 5 degrees above normal. So you're looking at the SST anomalies here, and what you're looking at is right here. I'll use the arrow here, the finger, the hand here, and what you're seeing here is a stripe of blue with warmth above it. Okay, so this is the last vestiges of what was a relatively moderately strong La Nina. It brought very dry conditions to much of the desert southwest and didn't bring a whole lot of rain. The snowpack was well below normal. I believe Flagstaff finished around a little less than 40 inches of snow for the entire season, which is well below the norm. Typically, they get about 90 plus inches of snow per year, and they really did not see much. The Sierra Nevadas also saw about 40 to 50% average snowfall, well below the norm of what we should be when they were taking the measurements. It was a dry year. As we headed into later April, for much of May, Central and Northern California did benefit from some late seasonal snows in the higher elevations above 9,000 feet, and some decent showers and thunderstorms in Central, Northern, and at times getting, parts of Southern California. So the rainy season ended a little bit late, but it also began quite late. December, January were relatively on the dry side. There wasn't a whole lot of storms. It was a La Nina year. We had a very weak La Nina in 2016, 2017, but we still had massive rainfall in the California. It wasn't just California, it was much of the coast. The West Coast just got slammed storm after storm, and they temporarily in many areas broke the drought, but the drought has returned. Some people say, climatologically speaking, some people say we're in a 50-year drought. That could be. Well, I'm not going to jump on that right now, and I don't think we're in a 50-year drought, but hey, we could be. All right, so what you're looking at here is the warmth. This is all developed here in the last 1 to 2 months. We're seeing SST anomalies 0.5 to 1.5 degrees above normal right now. We're not seeing a classic El Nino signature yet. We're currently in ENSO neutral, which means neither La Nina nor El Nino. They're relatively near normal for the most part, but we are seeing slightly, on the warmer side of ENSO neutral. The last time this occurred in June was during the monsoon of 2014, which was relatively, slow to start, but man, at the end of it, it was extremely active across the desert southwest. We saw a lot of severe weather that year. Remember, the remains of Norbert moved right over central Arizona, right over the Phoenix area, and it dumped anywhere between 2 inches to 10 inches of rain. There were isolated amounts of up to 10 inches, and I'm sure, and a few very isolated gauges, local home gauges or whatnot. So what you're looking at here is the development or the beginning vestiges of a possible El Nino. So right now we're on El Nino alert or El Nino watch, so to speak. It's neither, right now they're thinking, El Nino, there's a 50% chance of it developing in the autumn and about a 65 to 75% chance in the winter time for it to form. I do want to caution, too, that it is now, we don't know the strength that this El Nino is going to be, but most likely we're looking at a weak El Nino to possibly moderate. About 50% of the models saying that there's a 50% chance or so that a moderate El Nino would develop. That would be between 0.8 and 0.8 and 1.2 would make that a moderate category El Nino. And very, very few models say it's going to be strong. But again, remember, the potential is there, though small. There's about a 20% chance of a strong El Nino by late autumn, early winter across the equatorial Pacific. All right, so what about the trends? The trends, well, this is the difference. Okay, so difference in global mean SST anomalies. You can see, over the last couple of months, this warmth has expanded from near Indonesia all the way westward, and when the westerly wind bursts have been continuing across the equatorial Pacific, they're not major ones, but we've had a couple of decent-sized Kelvin waves, bringing the warmth that is at the, underneath, several meters down, to the surface. And they've been, gradually, slowly but surely coming up. And we're now starting to see the change on the maps. You can see another interesting feature I've noticed this this summer, is the cold water that has been surrounding Greenland. And in the coastal areas are relatively warm, very cold and relatively, well above normal, right along the coastal areas. Also seeing some pretty warm temperatures over off the Alaskan coastline, and some warmth on the extreme coast of Canada. And again, here South America, we're also seeing a warm patch here. South of Hawaii, quite warm. Over Hawaii, cooler than normal. Hawaii, normal to above normal, and cooler than normal underneath that. That, again, the last vestiges of what was a relatively strong La Nina. I think we peaked at around 1.2. That's, I'd say, moderate category for sure. Definitely formed over the winter that we just had and into the spring. So La Nina is gone. There is no La Nina left. This is just ENSO neutral that you are looking at here. Over the last couple of months, we have also seen a gradual increase from April, and it's been a gradual incline, guys. We've seen a gradual trend, and anything above 0.5, positive 0.5 for more than 3 consecutive months is considered El Nino. We're just now we're reading 0.4, positive 0.4 right now on the graph here, and that is approaching the El Nino category, okay? Now, I can almost say for sure, most likely scenarios, that by mid to late July, we will be just barely eclipsing the 0.5, or if not, by the end of July, we should be around 0.7 to 0.9 range. By the end of August, I believe that El Nino will have developed. Now, some years, the El Nino causes the monsoon to abruptly shut down. I'm not looking for that to occur this year, and if anything, the warm water it's going to get warmer and warmer in this region here. We're going to get very warm right off the coastline here. I know it looks a little cold right now. That's just temporary. It's not going to last, I'll tell you, because the warmth is going to spread northward, and we're definitely going to see this warmth expand in coverage and get thicker and stronger. And I do believe that we're going to see a very intense monsoon this year across the Southwest. We're going to see more heat waves this year across the continental U.S., especially in the Midwest and in the East. A relatively decent and rather prolonged heat wave is expected. We're talking about temperatures above 90 degrees and with high humidity across much of the northeastern U.S., which is where I'm from originally anyway. They're going to see some heat, guys. It's going to be quite hot, quite humid, and there won't be a whole lot of rain heading into the summer across New England. There'll be periods of it, and it's been, a little bit wet from time to time so far, but that is not going to last much longer. All this cold, this zone here in the Pacific, in the Atlantic, is where most of the hurricanes form, and then they move westward, and then usually some of them will curve up the eastern seaboard. Now, if they do actually form here and then go up the eastern seaboard, they could become quite intense. There's a lot of warm water above the cold. So you got cold, warm, cold. Okay, so cold SST anomalies below normal, much warmer than normal, very cold up here. So this belt, if a tropical system were to form in this zone or just south of it, if one actually does manage to form here and then moves upward, it can rapidly intensify in these warm waters. I do believe that right now we're going to see an extremely slow start in the Atlantic Basin for tropical systems. I do not think we're going to see many tropical systems at all across the area. Something just happened here. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I got it back for now. Okay, so I do believe that the Atlantic Basin is going to be off to a very slow start and very quiet. I don't think there's going to be a lot of tropical systems developing anytime soon. I think the entire month of July we may go without a tropical system of any significance in the Atlantic Basin. However, I must state That is not going to be the case out here in the East Pacific here. Very active tropical systems are going to be developing. I think we'll see 4 to 5, if not 6, tropical systems that are going to develop during the month of July in the eastern equatorial Pacific Basin.